The envelope arrived without a return address, its corners softened by the long journey, its surface smudged as if it had passed through many uncertain hands before reaching mine. I almost threw it away with the rest of the unopened mail. Bills, advertisements, reminders of obligations I was already failing to meet. But something about the weight of it made me pause. Inside was a single sheet of paper with a link written in careful blue ink. No explanation, no signature, just a YouTube URL. I stared at it for a long time, my reflection faintly visible in the dark screen of my laptop. My apartment was silent, except for the hum of the refrigerator and the ticking clock above the sink. It was the kind of silence that presses against your ears and makes you aware of every breath you take. I'd grown used to that silence over the past year. It had become my only steady companion. I typed the link slowly, half expecting it to lead nowhere. The video opened to a dimly lit room. The camera was slightly shaky, as if set up in a hurry. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then a woman stepped into frame. My chest tightened so suddenly it felt like I had been struck. It was her. Aisha. Her hair was shorter than I remembered, brushing her shoulders instead of cascading down her back. There were faint lines around her eyes that hadn't been there before. But it was her. The same soft brown eyes. The same way she pressed her lips together before speaking, as if testing the weight of her words. I hadn't seen her in 3 years, not since the night everything fell apart. In the video, she looked directly into the camera. "If you're watching this," she said, her voice trembling slightly. Then I finally found the courage to send it. My hands began to shake. I pushed my chair back, but I couldn't look away. "I don't know where to start," she continued. "Maybe with the truth. The truth I should have told you a long time ago." The air in the room felt thinner. 3 years ago, we had been engaged. We had chosen a small apartment together, argued over paint colors, laughed about how neither of us knew how to cook properly. We had plans that stretched years into the future. Children's names scribbled in notebooks. Travel dreams whispered in the dark. Then one evening she told me she couldn't marry me. No explanation that made sense. Just tears. Just distance. Just a door closing quietly behind her. I had replayed that night in my mind countless times. The way her hands wouldn't stop trembling. The way she avoided my eyes. The way she said, "You deserve more than I can give." I thought she had fallen out of love. In the video, she inhaled deeply. "I was sick," she said. The word hit me like a wave. "I found out 2 months before our wedding. I didn't tell you because I was scared. I was scared of being a burden. Scared of watching you give up your dreams for hospital rooms and test results. I thought if I left you, you'd be free." My vision blurred. She explained how the diagnosis had come suddenly, how the doctors weren't sure what would happen, how the treatments were aggressive and uncertain. She talked about the nights she sat alone in sterile rooms, listening to machines beep in rhythm with her racing heart. She talked about wanting to call me every single day. "I watched you from a distance," she admitted. "I saw you at the cafe once. You looked thinner." I almost walked in. I covered my mouth with my hand, trying to steady my breathing. "You were angry," she said softly. "And you had every right to be. I let you think I didn't love you. But the truth is, I loved you so much that I thought losing me would hurt less than watching me fade." The room seemed to tilt. I remembered the anger, the bitterness, the nights I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying every conversation, searching for the moment I must have failed her. I remembered telling myself I would never trust anyone again. That love was just a beautiful lie people told before they left. She wiped her eyes in the video. "I'm better now," she whispered. "The treatments worked. It took time. It took more strength than I knew I had. And there were moments I didn't think I'd make it." Her voice broke. "But surviving it made me realize something. I didn't push you away to protect you. I pushed you away because I didn't believe I was worthy of being loved when I was weak." The words pierced straight through me. For years, I had carried the wound of abandonment, but I had never considered that she had been carrying fear just as heavy. "I don't know if you've moved on," she said. "I don't know if you hate me. I don't know if you'll even watch this all the way through. But I needed you to know the truth, not because I expect anything, not because I want to reopen old wounds, but because you deserved honesty. The video paused for a moment, as if she was gathering the last pieces of courage. "I'm still in love with you," she said finally. "And if there's even a small part of you that still feels something, I'll be at the old pier this Saturday at sunset. If you don't come, I'll understand. I just needed to try." The screen went black. I sat there for a long time, the glow of the laptop reflecting off my tear-streaked face. My heart was pounding so loudly, it felt like it might shatter my ribs. The old pier. That was where I had proposed, where she had laughed and cried at the same time, where we had carved our initials into the wood like foolish teenagers. Saturday was tomorrow. All night I didn't sleep. I walked from one end of the apartment to the other, replaying the video in my mind. Anger rose up again, sharp and familiar. How could she decide for me? How could she take away my right to choose whether to stay? But beneath the anger was something deeper, a fragile, trembling hope. What if we still had a chance? The next evening, the sky burned orange and pink as I drove toward the pier. My hands gripped the steering wheel so tightly, my knuckles turned white. Every possible outcome played out in my mind. She might not show up. She might have changed her mind. I might not be able to forgive her. The ocean air hit me as soon as I stepped out of the car. It smelled of salt and memory. She was already there, standing at the edge of the pier, facing the horizon. The wind tugged at her hair. She looked smaller somehow, but stronger too. There was a steadiness in the way she stood. For a moment I just watched her. 3 years of silence stretched between us like an invisible wall. She turned. Our eyes met. The world seemed to fall away. Neither of us moved at first. Then she took a tentative step forward. I saw the fear in her eyes, the vulnerability, the readiness to accept rejection. "I wasn't sure you'd come," she said, her voice barely audible over the waves. "I wasn't sure either," I replied honestly. We stood a few feet apart, close enough to see every emotion flicker across each other's faces. "I'm sorry," she whispered, "for everything." I felt the weight of my pain rise to the surface. The lonely nights, the self-doubt, the broken trust. It would have been easier to turn around, to protect myself. But as I looked at her, I saw not the woman who had left me, but the woman who had fought for her life alone because she thought she was protecting me. "You should have told me," I said, my voice shaking. "You should have let me decide." "I know," she said, tears spilling over. "I know that now." Silence wrapped around us again, softer this time. "I was angry for a long time," I admitted. "I thought I wasn't enough. I thought you stopped loving me." "I never stopped," she said fiercely. I stepped closer. "Love isn't about being strong all the time," I said quietly. "It's about staying, even when things fall apart." Her breath caught. "I was afraid you'd see me differently," she confessed. Weak, broken. "I would have seen you as human," I said, "and I would have stayed." The wind carried my words between us. Something shifted then. The wall of years began to crumble. "I don't want to waste any more time," she said, her voice steadier now. "But I also don't expect you to just forget everything." "I can't forget," I replied. "But maybe we don't need to. Maybe we just need to start again. Not from where we left off, but from who we are now." She looked at me as if she was seeing me for the first time. "Are you sure?" she asked. "After everything?" I reached for her hand. My heart pounded, not with fear this time, but with clarity. "Life is fragile," I said. "We both learned that. I don't want to spend another day wondering what could have been." Her fingers tightened around mine. Tears streamed down her face, but she was smiling. "I'm not afraid anymore," she said. "Neither am I," I replied, as the sun dipped below the horizon. Painting the sky in deep gold and violet, I pulled her into my arms. She fit there like she always had, like no time had passed at all. But it had passed, and it had changed us. We weren't the same people who had once carved our initials into the wood. We were stronger, more aware of how quickly everything could disappear. And this time, we chose each other not out of naive certainty, but out of conscious, fragile, powerful hope. The waves crashed beneath us, steady and relentless. And for the first time in years, the silence around me didn't feel empty. It felt full of possibility.